people might be mad at this video, but I'm telling it as it is. I'm spilling the tea, honey. Hey guys, it's your girl RoxyRose, and this video is long overdue. I know a couple people been asking me to put this one up. So it's a story time basically of how I met my father, or sperm donor. So one day I was bored. We didn't have internet or anything, so there was a phone book, and I'm like, you know what, let me decide to look in the phone book. So I'm going through the phone book, like I'm on the floor going through the phone book, and then I see a name like that's like very similar to my dad's. So as my last name is not spelled correctly, so then it's very similar. I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm bored. I'm like, you know what, like, let me try this number and just let it out. If it's not the right number, I'd be like, oh, my bad, whatever, I don't know. I was just making something up. So I called, and it was someone who was French who answered. Actually, after that call, I found out it was my uncle, and I didn't get to meet him. He was visiting from Haiti, and it was so yeah. So I was like, so I don't want to put my dad's name out there. So yeah. So just in case he calls and gets vexed at me, but whatever. We're gonna call him blah blah. Okay, it's blah blah there. And then they're like, what? Because they did not speak English, so I had to kind of say it in French, and my French isn't great, so I had to ask them, okay, is he there? And then he's like, no, he's not. So he took my number. He's said he'll call me back. So I went to my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I think I found blah blah. And she's like, like, really? And how? And I said, in the phone book. And then so he called back. He did call back. It was later in the night, like very, very late. And he was like, oh yeah, you called type thing. And I'm like, yes. And I was like, I said my name, and he's like, obviously didn't know who I was. And I'm like, I'm your daughter, you my daddy. I was like, okay, this conversation isn't working out right now. So I'm like, do you know? And I said my mom's name, and then that's when he's like, oh, click, light bulb. He's like, yes, I do. And then I was like, okay, I went to get my mom. I'm like, Mom, my sperm donor's on the phone, and he remember you, but he don't know me. So that night he's like, oh, I'm coming over. And then my mom's like, okay. He came over, and it was awkward. It was a bit awkward. It was the only time he gave me money. I was 17, so yeah. And then anyways, with that money, I went and I got a tattoo. So my mom's last name is Rose. Y'all think I'm playing with my last name? No. My name is Rose, and I went and got a tattoo of a rose. That was the only time he gave me money. Amazing thing about meeting my father was actually getting to meet my siblings and my cousins. So that was the best thing. I got to see my extended family. But he's still a deadbeat. Like, even though sometimes yeah, he tries to call and stuff, but like, for that, I'm salty because you have a child in the world and then you don't do nothing. When you finally meet them, you still don't do nothing. No, like, even if I'm almost an adult, you should have the decency to try to make up for those years that you missed. 17 years is a long time. So some people try to tell me, like, oh, to forgive him and like let him take Malachi and be part of his life. So there's a lot more story times within this period of time that why I'm not so forgiving. Woo! Jesus, take the wheel. Another thing that was good about meeting my dad is that I got to learn about my Haitian side. So Haitian squad sac passe. So my Creole is not great, but yeah, I got to experience some Haitian food before I turned pescatarian. So now it's might be hard. Any Haitian vegetarian meals? Comment down below. So what is kind of sad is even though I got to meet my siblings late, like all that time I wish like I could have been growing up with them. Um, and also another thing is I may have another sibling in question. But yeah, so I'm hoping to do ancestry.com soon. Maybe I could link up with other other family members on my dad's side. I would have loved to meet my grandfather. I believe he's still alive, but my dad and well, Mr. Blah Blah and and his dad do not have a great connection. But you see, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So it's like a cycle, I guess. So besides not being able to ride a bike or do daddy daughter moments, whatever daddies and daughters do, go to daddy daughter dance. I wasn't able to do that. I had to learn how to, I had to go to driving school to learn how to drive. I can't ride a bike. I don't know how to swim. Like, yeah, some of those things obviously I could have learned by myself or I could learn now, but I feel like some things it's a daddy's role to help with that. I only had my brother and my uncle as male role models, and you know it's sometimes I feel like maybe it was a lot of pressure on them, or like maybe they were like, okay, it's not my daughter, but like I could try to help anyway. I really don't know how daddy and daughters are supposed to be because I grew up around women, around strong, independent women, and my mom, like, my mom was a single mom. And yeah, so I feel like I could have done so much. Like, I'm like, what if you were there? I would have probably been more bilingual. Um, so much things. There's so much what ifs. Like, while I was growing up, I was always like asking questions to my mom and always asking, what if, what if? I grew up in the foster system too, and like I had a lot of social services. around me. I mean, from what I hear, my father wasn't perfect, but I'm still like, okay, what if maybe things would have been better? But as I said before, I'm not even mad because those things made me who I am today, and I get to teach my son how to be a strong person and let him know what I've been through. And the only reason I'm mad is because when I met you, you're like, you're not even trying. So I'm sorry. And I'm feeling really, really bad because I would always ask my mom, like, where's my dad? Why would he even try to look for me? Like, I was like bullied in school, and like, I would come home crying to my mom, and my mom would be like, man up, basically. But kudos to all those moms out there who have kids and are doing it alone. Yeah, it's just hard.
How come you don't want me, man? How come you don't want me, man?
I'm a bit emotional, so when people do tell me, oh, you have to forgive him, like, what am I forgiving? Like, no. I don't need to forgive him. I was not the one who decided to have kids and be a jerk and leave them. Another thing that really pisses me off is that so many young people are going through what I went through, no dad in their life, and then they have kids and still want to be an asshole like their dad. Like, are you serious? You've seen it happen to your mom. You've seen your mom be a single mom, and then you want to go have kids and like do the same thing to them when you said, oh, it was hard growing up. So change the cycle. Like this, I'm so aggravated right now. Like, I don't know, just knowing that you have a kid out there, just try to do right by your kid. If you're a dad out there, if you haven't spoken to your child for a long time, hit them up. Call them. Be a dad. If you're a dad out there and someone is pregnant and you're wondering like, don't leave. Be a dad. And remember, when life gives you deadbeat dads, search for the roses, smell the roses, or drink a bottle of rosé. Hey. For real, I used to always ask my mom if Michael Jackson was my dad. And I would be like, why don't you find him and marry him then? Shout out to my mama Rose and all the single moms doing it alone. You strong, independent woman. You got this. You might think that no one's there and that it's hard and you're doing it alone, but you're doing it for your child. And I know the struggle of that, and ain't a woman alive that could take my mama's place. So big up to you all single moms. You hear? Don't forget to like, comment down below, and subscribe, and share with a friend. Thanks for watching. Ciao. Bye. Adios. See you later.